And a very good day to you. I think we have things back in order here on the YouTube channel. Yes, we do. I think we do. And I think you can hear me now. Those of you who can, please make sure that you make yourselves known. My goodness me, what a crazy, crazy night. I apologize, by the way, for the audio mishaps. I don't know what the devil has been going on here, but I do know now that you can hear me. So my profound apologies to you on this brand new edition of the You ORNS post-match on YouTube. Thank you so very much for your time. Omar here after really what has been a very poor performance from Watford Football Club. A very, very bad showing from the lads today. Listen, it's not the end of the planet. I do want to welcome all of you on YouTube and on Instagram right now for this edition of the You ORNS post-match. Watford FC, You ORNS post-match, of course, on Instagram and on YouTube. Seth Lawrence has joined us on YouTube. Excuse me, on Instagram. Niall Gill has joined us on Instagram. Shocking, says Niall, on Instagram. I do apologize for getting to you all late. We came, we got slapped, we left, says Seth Lawrence on Insta. Harrison Allardyce says hello. Hello to you, Harrison. Very bad performance tonight. Lewis Honeysett joins us on Instagram as well. Finley 1881 says hello. Hello to you, Finley. Very poor tonight from these lads. Just didn't have it. So bad, says Lewis. Yep, I agree with you, Lewis. It was profoundly, profoundly poor from us tonight. And Niall says, who told Bio to become a professional footballer? Yeah, it was just so shocking tonight. Bio, I've defended him for a long time because I think he's a really good, industrious player, but he is absolutely shocking in front of goal. I knew that for a long time. I knew that, but this season it's really got even worse. The magnitude of the sitters that he misses is just absolutely alarming. It's downright disturbing. I mean, there's one thing last season for him to miss sitters, but this season it's even worse. He has gone from bad to worse, and I can no longer defend him. I can no longer defend him. I've gone long enough to defending this player. I still think he's a good person. Personally, so I'm not attacking him personally. I'm just saying his commitment in front of goal is a dog's dinner. And I'm going to read out all your comments. Listen, Harrison says 7 goals in 2 away games is embarrassing, especially at teams like Preston and Norwich. I've said the same thing, Harrison. I think that this is shocking. I called on X for those players to refund the coach fare and the travel fare for the fans. And a couple of Watford fans profoundly disagreed with me, said that I was cool. I don't like this refund stuff on X. Well, look, the fact of the matter is I don't call for refunds every game. I said that on X just now. This was just terrible tonight from Watford. In all respects, the defending was awful, Harrison. 7 goals, as you point out, in 2 matches. Absolutely terrible. For God's sake, Preston were in the bottom 3 before this game. And they looked like the second coming of Alex Ferguson's sides. And that was just ridiculous. Honeysett, Lewis says, Lewis Honeysett, Bio can't finish at all. Hello, Richard. How are you? I'm sure you're not doing too well because I'm not doing too well either. We're all not doing too well. Harrison, Bio, who wants to play higher level football is shite. End of. Off he goes to Udinese. Bio couldn't finish his dinner, says Seth Lawrence. Absolutely right. Connor, hello to you, Connor. Thank you. Richard comes in and says the following. Bio needs to go or be dropped to the bench. I agree. I think he needs to go now. I've had enough. And I'm the biggest fan of him you'll find at Watford. He is awful. Terrible stuff. Absolutely terrible from him. I mean, would Rajovic be worse? And I've digged out Rajovic many times, but I'm sure he would have finished one of them 2 chances tonight. Barr had a terrible game. He was lively, but he missed a sitter. And then Bio misses a sitter second half that would have cut the arrears to 2-1. It would have been game on. Michael Hobson on YouTube, missed TDB, TBD, or TDB, actually. I'm sorry. Michael just transposed the letters, but we know what you mean, Michael. We missed TDB in midfield badly. Nobody was putting tackles in midfield. Another game where Sissoko went missing. Do we want him as our captain again this season? Well, he was good on Saturday. He was the man of the match on Saturday, Michael, as you know. I have no problem with him being captain. He is a leader out there. I think he's been on and off the last few games. I don't think that look, and I'll tell you this, Michael, on YouTube, the midfield does set the tone, and the captain does set the tone for the game. But I don't think he's the reason why we lost this game tonight. I don't think so. I think collectively we just weren't on the page together. We played very individualistic football. Georgie, who some people will probably call to be captain, he was the only one that did anything tonight. So, Michael, thank you for your comment. I appreciate it. Watford FC on YouTube says, Bio does not go well with our rhythm of play. Yeah, he's been awful. He's been awful this season. He had one great goal, but he's done nothing of anything the rest of the way. That goal scored against Derby, remember that? But he was awful. That was in August. We're now in October. And he's just not good enough from Bio. I'll be happy for him to go in January, let alone the end of the season. Listen, I'm his biggest fan. His work ethic is excellent, but his posture in front of goal is absolutely a joke. I've said that here now. You've seen me say it. I will say it happily again. He has got to be better. And if he missed, with all the sitters that he's missed this season alone, he could probably have 10 goals this season for Watford already. Matt says Bio couldn't score if there was another goal, either side of the main goal, that he's that bad. Send him away already, please. I mean, these comments are coming in, and these are not nasty comments. These are the comments of Watford fans who have seen enough and had enough of Bio. And listen, I'm very close to joining them. I listen, Bio can leave in January. He really can. Some of you say he should leave now. It's been that poor. This season, he's been even worse with the sitters. Man City last week. Sunderland on Saturday missed one. And he missed a golden chance tonight. You won't have an easier one than this tonight. I'm sorry. I've had enough of it. He can go in January back to Udinese. Some of you think he should go now. I'll say Udinese, come collect him from the airport in January. This is not any good. We cannot abide by this anymore. Seth Lawrence, no trains home and under 18s can't be on the coach. What they meant to do. That's Seth Lawrence's comment. I guess that's in response to my refund remark from earlier. A lot of some Watford fans aren't happy that I've called for a refund, not for the train fare, for the travel fare. Fair comment. You didn't like that comment. You don't like it. Fine. But they were awful tonight in every department. The defending was terrible. Meerkat London, hello to you. Lewis says he's had some good games, just not tonight. That's Harrison and Lewis having a conversation. No, mate, I can't stand Morris. He's just not good enough, says Harrison. Yeah, Harrison. Morris has not done anything. If we're going to talk about Bio, let's talk about James Morris. What did James Morris do tonight? Nothing. I mean, like everybody else tonight, except for Georgie and the goalkeeper, Johnny Bond. What did Morris do tonight? Good point there from Harrison. Billy Hughes, hello. Seth Lawrence, there you go. Billy Hughes, do you think the first goal was offside? Yeah, probably it was, Billy. But the point is, and someone said this to me on X, and I said this to them, I'm about to say to you, Billy. The point is that you play till the whistle. I can't stand that offside rule where you have to wait till the whistle and wait till the flag is up and all the nonsense. Back in the day, they used to, and not even that long ago, they used to immediately whistle the play dead once the offside was there. But not now. Not now. I'm going to take a swig of something here. Not now. We don't do that anymore. Now, you've got to play until the flag goes up, until the whistle blows. Really poor stuff, Billy. Yeah, it probably was offside is the answer. But my whole thing is that the lads have got to play to the final whistle. And they just didn't. Excuse my voice. But they just didn't play to the final whistle. And you got to when you got an offside. And they all put their hands up, so they all knew it was offside. But you got to play. They slacked off, didn't do enough. Harrison Allardyce, the right wing back, was awful defensive-wise too. Yep, I agree. Not a good night for Festi. Ebicelli, Daryl Fernando, hello to you. But Billy, that's my answer to your question. We just couldn't put 2 or 3 passes together. That's Richard saying that. Hello, Richard. Thank you for your comment on Instagram. I've got more to read from Instagram and on YouTube. I'm glad that you can all hear me on YouTube now. I apologize. I was trying to figure out what the audio difficulties were, and so I apologize for that the first time around. Bottom line is that got the new stream up and you can all hear me on YouTube, so that's good. I will, again, I fixed the problem, but I need to fix this again in future so that this doesn't happen anymore, because it's happened on 2 occasions now on YouTube. But anyway, I'm glad that you are able to hear me. I'll read out your YouTube comments in just a few moments' time. On Instagram, meanwhile, just can't be playing the way we did, like the way we did tonight. I agree, says Lewis Honeyset. Beat Sunderland and lose to Preston, says Harrison. Do me a favor. Can't be this bad away all season. Harrison, I think we can. We've been shocking away. I mean, take the Manchester City game out the way. In the championship this season, we've been awful. We had the 1 win against Millwall back in August to start the season, but it's just terrible stuff away from home. We can't put anything together away from home. It's just really poor. I'm really worried about the away form, though, Harrison. Very worried about our away form. We've been awful. Seth Lawrence, no trains home, and you under 18s can't be on the coach. How are we supposed to bring a good following? Thank you for recalibrating your comments, Seth Lawrence, on Instagram. I'd rather Keenan Davis than Bio, says Harrison on Instagram. Ooh. I don't think that's a bad comment at all, though, Harrison, because Keenan Davis, he at least scored some goals for us. Even if it weren't that often, he at least found the back of the net. Harrison Allardyce has continued on his comments. Billy Hughes, but remember, we stayed behind the team always here, Billy. That's always going to be the case here. Today was very bad, but Middlesbrough is a different story and a different day. Let them prove us wrong and change our minds. Billy Hughes with the optimism. And I agree, Billy. Listen, I agree. My criticism of the team, and I know you didn't say this, Billy, but my criticism of Watford doesn't mean that I don't get behind the lads. In fact, I actually get behind the lads even more because I criticize what they do, because I care, as do every one of you watching as Watford fans care. I think that sometimes they need to be heard from, the fans. When the fans don't like a performance, we have a right to dig into the team and talk about that. And we also have a right to say on to Saturday, which is exactly what I said on X earlier on. I said on to Saturday, onward and upward. Absolutely. We can play better than this. We've got a home match against Middlesbrough, and absolutely, we'll back the lads. You won't, I don't think you'll find anybody in either one of these 2 rooms who aren't going to get behind the lads on Saturday and who aren't behind the lads tonight. But it's just that, we have a right to react to such a terrible performance. It's been a shocking performance tonight against a team in the bottom 3. Now that's a disgraceful performance. No way around it, Billy. But I agree. I understand what you're saying. Joe Larkin, you warns, this is depressing. Get your boots on, Omar. We need a striker who can finish, says Harrison. Yeah, we've got to laugh tonight. Then we may as well laugh at that comment. Harrison, good job, as always. It's 90 degrees in San Francisco, California. For God's sakes. I mean, I've got to laugh at something. It's been absolutely dreadful here. The heat wave is on. Oh my God. It's 90 something. It's nearly 100 degrees Fahrenheit out here. Oh my God. It's 2 something in the afternoon. And dear, oh dear, oh dear. And I've got to head back to work. Luckily, I work from home, so that's not too bad. The treasure is 95 degrees. It is just absolutely mental with all the global warming and all the rest of it. It's never that. I mean, San Francisco, by the way, it does get hotter, by the way, in September and October. So if you want a trip to San Francisco in your future, and it's a safer city than what you get told on television, much safer than you think. Crime is way down in this city. But anyway, I digress. But if you want to come to San Francisco, September and October are the months to do it in. That's the tip. During the summer, it's not warm here. But if you come here September and October, you'll get 95-degree weather. That. Anyway, back to the football and back to Watford Football Club, the club that we love. We'll always be behind these lads. But I'm sorry, when you play this poorly, you can dig them out and still be with them as well. That's a way to show that you care about this club. Billy Hughes says our formations on Insta gives so much space to their fullbacks. Yeah, they had a run of the place tonight, Billy. They ran around us. They were able to go down our sides, go down our middle. Our shape was not good tonight. I don't care what anybody tells me. Our defensive application was very poor. Our wing backs were missing in action tonight. There's this kind of thing about wing backs. You go forward or you stay home. And there wasn't enough help from the wing backs tonight to stay home to help the back three out. We got caught out with them goals. That was a prime example of our wing backs in part not doing enough to help out at the back. And then our defensive application was poor as a team. We were awful defensively. And Joe Larkins just mentioned that we were obviously poor defensively, but we missed 3 easy chances. Well, Joe, the fact of the matter is we were poor all over the pitch. I'm not having a go at you, Joe. It's just that we were poor everywhere, front to back. And yes, on YouTube, Watford FC asks, is Sierralta injured? Yes, he is. He's supposed to come back sometime later this month. That's the hope. But he is injured, Watford FC on YouTube, for asking that. I'm gonna absolutely now read these comments on YouTube. I apologize because I've not got up with your comments yet. Michael Hobson has given his comment. Watford FC on YouTube says, Bio does not go well for a rhythm of play. I played that one. I mentioned that. Mats, I also mentioned as well. Watford FC said, Bond today remind me of Karius in the 2018 Champions League final. So Watford FC does not agree with my assessment of Johnny Bond tonight. He wasn't a world beater tonight, Watford FC, but I thought that he had a decent, okay game in goal. I think he was at least he was the only one that showed up, made some important saves in the game in the first half. Second half, his defense made him look bad. I mean, I'm sorry, the defending tonight was the problem more than it was the goalkeeper. But your comment has been heard. Thank you very much indeed for that, Watford FC. Michael Hobson says, I really do think Batter needs to go up front. Invest in our youth players, says Michael on YouTube. He continues on YouTube to say this, does Michael. We can do no worse at this moment in time. Our wingbacks are very weak defensively. Larouci, Morris, Sema are not working. Thank you, Michael, for the comment. And I just alluded to that. You may have made that comment earlier before I got to reading it out. But look, the fact of the matter is, Michael's absolutely right. As I've also said, the wing backs tonight got it all wrong. I don't think they had the balance right tonight in the game. You have, again, as I said, there's a fine line between committing and staying back to help your back line. And I'm sorry, against a team that's very physical like Preston is, who bomb forward, that's a real problem. We got caught out on that long ball again tonight. We got caught out that way against Norwich. And we are committing the same mistakes away from home again and again. Peter Hopwood, thank you for your comment. Billy says, missing Tom Deli Bashiri was a big loss, I thought. I think you're right, Billy, on Instagram. Someone's also alluded to that on YouTube as well. I think it might have been Michael Hobson who did allude to that earlier. He said the same thing. I think we did miss TDB tonight in the middle of the park. We lack discipline in our structure. I think we lack discipline all over the pitch tonight, Billy. And for everyone watching, we just lacked discipline everywhere. We lacked commitment to our position as a team. We played very individualistically tonight, I thought. Our shape was not right. We got caught out too much in defense. We did not charge down the ball defensively enough. Contrast to Saturday when we were very good at doing that. Our defensive commitment tonight was really poor. We allowed that first ball to get past. James Morris didn't do a thing on that ball. He was ball watching. And then the rest of them did too. Ball watching for these goals. It was just terrible. You can't let that penetration get that deep with the Preston players. They penetrated our line. And once they got past one player, no one else put a foot in. No tackles, as someone said earlier. No tackles anywhere. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable football. And people having a go at me because I say that the fans that travel to Deepdale should get coach fare as a refund. And someone's having, and people, a couple of fans having a go at me for that. Really? Come on now. And it's not, again, I'll say this again. It's not like I'm calling for refunds every week for bad performances. I didn't call for one against Norwich when they shipped 4 goals. I didn't call for one against Sheffield United when they were dismal in that game. Come on, tonight they were terrible. Let's face it. Even if you don't agree with me saying, "Hey, look, coach fare should be refunded to these fans," they were a dog's dinner tonight. Sema was awful tonight. Bio was terrible tonight. And Bar should have scored. Should have scored. I'm surprised that Clevs kept Georgie on the pitch so long. I really, because when it was 2-0, this game was over at 2-0. When the game was 2-0, the game was over. First goal, there was still a chance. But when it was 2-0, it was over. And I had a bad feeling that Bio wasn't going to score there anyway to cut the deficit to 2-1. We didn't deserve to get a goal out this game. You can't score up front and you can't defend at the back. And that equals a 3-0 loss. I can't complain about Preston. Preston didn't even play well. We gave the game to Preston tonight. That's the problem. Gave the blooming game to them. Let me read the rest of your comments on YouTube. It's gone a bit quiet on Instagram at the moment, but thank you very much for sticking with this. I know it's late. It's nearly 10:30 in the United Kingdom, wherever you might be across the world. Thank you very much for joining us here on You ORNS Post-Match Watford FC on YouTube and on Instagram. Please subscribe to the podcast. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel and to Instagram at You ORNS WFC and on YouTube at You ORNS WFC. And I agree with you, Michael, on Vata. Vata needs to get in these games. He needs to start these games. Jefferson, he's not in. He's going to probably come in on Saturday to start. Bio can't start another of these games. I know he didn't start tonight, but Bio is not the answer. We have a very thin strike force. Bottom line is Bio can't start the games. I don't care what happens with everybody else. I'd rather Vata start these blooming games now than Bio. I'm sorry. It's got to that point now where I am at wit's end with Bio. I'm sorry. I am, and I'm a big fan of his, but tonight the dam broke for me. These sitters are becoming way too much. And listen, I know a lot of Watford fans had enough of this last season, but these sitters this season, especially the manner in which he's missing these are even easier. I mean, it's just shocking how he's missed that one tonight. It was easier than Bar's chance. Trains are expensive, and the rule of the under-18s not being allowed on coaches is absurd, says Watford FC. Matt says it's almost like the whole team arrived at Preston tonight thinking, oh, this is an easy win tonight. We got this in the bag. Well, that's a slap in the face. There's a slap in the face for them tonight, says Matt on YouTube. I agree. It's been I think they came into this game expecting to win. And you can't expect to win a game in the championship. You've got to play to win in the championship. And they played the expectation of winning. And you can't expect to win in this league. You can't. How did Aston Villa go from losing to us 3-2 years ago to winning against Bayern Munich in the Champions League tonight? Yeah, that's a tale of two teams, isn't it? By the way, when Aston Villa lost to us 3-2, they had a different manager. I think that's probably the answer to your question there, Watford FC. Your question may be a touch rhetorical, but the bottom line is the answer is their head coach. You know, Unai Emery has done an excellent job. End of story. He's done an excellent job there at Aston Villa, you know. And that's really where I'd look at why Aston Villa have gone from losing to us 3 years ago or 2 years ago, 3 years ago now. It was 2021, August of that year. And to winning the game tonight against Bayern Munich, a team that was in the final of the Champions League last season. I mean, Bayern Munich, weren't they in the final? Yeah, they were in the final of the Champions League last season, weren't they? Yeah, they were. They lost to Real Madrid, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. Maybe it was Bayern, wasn't it? I don't even remember. It might have been actually. It was Bayern, Borussia Dortmund that was in the final. So my apologies. Borussia Dortmund was in the final of the Champions League against Real Madrid. That was last season. So yeah, against Bayern Munich. Yeah, Bayern Munich. It's unbelievable, unbelievable. But again, this is about the way that Aston Villa have built their team up. Good signings, great manager in Unai Emery, who's won in other places, won a load of cups. You know, would you be surprised to see Aston Villa get to the final the semifinals of the Champions League? I wouldn't be. I wouldn't be. Now, Liverpool are very strong, and Arsenal have been pretty decent this season, and we know about City. But City are missing Rodri, so that's going to be a problem for City. I think Rodri is going to hurt them down the line here. I'm not saying that they can't win the Premier League, but Rodri's absence from City is massive. That's going to have massive repercussions across that team and across those competitions they play in. So Watford FC, there's your answer. Brown Electrons, yeah, I've been a biobacker, but he's been so poor. Brown, thanks for the comment on YouTube. Yeah, it's hard to defend him now. I'm a big fan of his because he worked so hard for the team, but you cannot defend that tonight. I'm sorry. He was not in this game at all. He was on the bench, come in, 5 minutes in, he had a golden opportunity to cut this down to 2-1. And listen, I would have not said anything bad about Bio tonight had he scored that goal, even if he missed another one afterwards. But tonight, it's just the sitters mount. You know, the game against City, he should have scored in that game, first half of that one. He had a chance against Sunderland, didn't get that converted, or that was not nearly as bad as tonight's. And then tonight comes along and he just did not get it done. So really poor for me from Bio. My prediction today was a 2-1 Watford win. I got that wrong. I got the number of goals correct, but I didn't get the outcome right, did I? I said 2-1 to Watford. It was a 3-0 score for Preston, and Preston deserved every part of that. Here is what Michael Hobson had to say on YouTube. Loser could be such an asset to this team. He showed a few glimpses of class tonight, but mostly his attitude is poor and doesn't run around like he should. Maybe time to just sell him in January. Yeah, Loser's come a long way down. He had a good through ball in Michael earlier, in the early part of the game, Michael, to Bar to run onto, and he ran onto it very well. That was the one-on-one opportunity that Loser provided with the final ball through. Great through ball. But Loser's a shade of what he was when he was really motoring for us. You know, the last time I thought he really played well, Michael, was when we were in the Premier League that season we got relegated the last time around, back in 2022, when he was fighting for the team. I remember when that god-awful manager that we had, you know who he is, his initials are RH, and, you know, he took Loser off the team, remember, against Arsenal? I remember that at the Vic. It was a Sunday afternoon game, and Loser was putting in tackles left, right, and center. We didn't play well that day, but Loser was giving you 110% effort, tackling players left, right, and center, going at Lacazette, going at all these players, having a go at all of them, where the rest of us just didn't. And then remember what the manager said at the time, RH are his initials, and he mocked the fans for booing the decision that he made to take off Loser. Remember that? And he had the post-match press conference, post-match comments, and he said, "Oh, well, the fans, you know, they gave me grief because I took off one of their favorites." Hey, don't denigrate us like that. You know that. You know better than that. I don't want to even mention his name. He's no longer managing the club anyway, and I'm glad for that. But don't denigrate the Watford fan base. We know what we're talking about here. You know? So that hastened his exit. And then when he's celebrating with Palace fans at us getting relegated, glad-handing his players from the Palace days when they were the ones that relegated us, yeah, that rubbed more salt in the wound. So, you know, he is not somebody I will remember fondly at these parts. But I just want to read out the rest of what's been said, because Michael's correct. I think Loser has definitely fallen off the boil, and he's gone off the boil. And for me, he really now needs to be expendable from this club. It's just really, really poor. It's really, really poor stuff, actually. But what can you say? You know, Bio poor, Loser poor, hasn't got the same attitude and appetite. I don't know whether it's the injuries that he had the last couple of seasons that's changed it for him, and his mindset's different now. But some players, their mindset changes, you know, they change for the better. They get courageous and determined. They come back, they bounce back, and they say, well, look, you know, I'm going to come back better. Loser came back, got injured again. That's a factor. But then his attitude's not been good. Disciplined from the team last season. Attitude not good. So I think he needs to move on. I think he does. And I'm going to move on from the Instagram. Instagram followers, thank you very much indeed. I'm going to go for a few more minutes on YouTube. Thank you very much for your time on Instagram. Until next time, I'll see you this weekend, Instagram followers, and I'll do the pre-match as well for you. So join us for You Orns pre-match on Instagram, at You Orns WFC on Instagram. and of course, subscribe as well. Thank you very much on Instagram. We'll continue for a few more minutes on YouTube. Take care now. And until next time on Instagram, you ORNS. Take care, everyone, on Instagram, and be well. Back to you on YouTube for another 5 or 6 minutes. Thank you for joining us here. I'm glad you can hear me now. Omar here on YOU ORNS post-match Watford FC on YouTube at YOU ORNS WFC. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll get more video up during the course of this next few days. I've even got 10-minute takes that I've not even posted yet. One of them was against Norwich, which I won't ever post, although maybe I should, but maybe not. And then the one I did on Saturday against Sunderland, which I still didn't post yet, which I will post. That one I will post. And there's, of course, one coming up on this game as well. You will not want to miss what I have to say about that. And, of course, you've had some sneak previews of what I had to say about that tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 5 more minutes, and then we will say good night to you all across the land and around the world on YOU ORNS Watford FC post-match. Look, he's a luxury player. He's a luxury player, says Brown Electrons. When he was a luxury player, I guess that's what Brown is saying to us on YouTube. Thank you very much, Brown, for your comments. Watford FC on YouTube says Bio doesn't have the calm on the ball that most of our attacking players do. This forces him to make mistakes when passing and shooting. Thank God, Michael Hobson says we got Georgie on a 5-year deal. He's head and shoulders our best player so far, says Michael. He should have had another assist this evening. Ogbonna looked good at the back again. Pardon me. Michael, yeah, I think the silver lining is that it is just one game. The silver lining is Ogbonna was good at the back. I don't think this was his fault tonight. I just think team-wide, we just didn't do a good enough job. And Georgie, yeah, as you said, is head and shoulders above every other Watford player. 5-year deal, Michael, as you say. But I would caution you on one aspect of what you've said. Contracts are made to be broken. I mean, that's just, you can call what I've just said cynical, or you can have a different view, as you're obviously entitled to. But the reason I say that is because we know that a lot of players, they sign 5-year deals, 6-year deals, 3-year deals, and they don't see them out. And there's lots of reasons why. The player's too hot to handle and too cold to hold, and so another club swoops in for him, big money, and boom, he's gone. Or, for whatever reason, something happens, he decides he wants to leave the club and go somewhere else, he goes. Or, because the club has said, you know what, we're going to terminate the contract now, or it might be terminated by mutual consent. Contracts are made to be broken. I mean, I hate to pour cold water on this, Michael, but contracts are made to be broken. I mean, I hope Georgie stays for 5 years, but as you quite rightly point out, he's the best player on the team by head and shoulders. And that is going to attract attention from Premier League clubs. It's going to attract attention from any club. And that could be a club in Europe, continental Europe. It could be from a club, then he might want to go play in Spain. He might want to go play in Italy. He might want to go and play Bundesliga football. I mean, if one of them clubs in the Bundesliga, like a Dortmund, comes in for him, like a Bayern Munich, you don't think that he's going to have his head turned? I'm not saying it's going to happen, Michael. I'm not suggesting that at all. And I'm glad he signed this 5-year deal. I thought he'd signed something for us in December, but maybe they ripped that up and extended it. But I think we've got to be realistic about that. I'm not saying you're not being realistic, Michael, but we have to really look at the larger context is that someone like Doucouré signed a 5-year deal that would have kept him here until 2023. He even famously posed with a shirt that said Doucouré 2023 on it. After 2021, he was gone, basically. 2022, he was gone. In fact, it was 2021, I think. He was gone. He's been at Everton now for what, 4 seasons? That's the way the football game is. It's all business, Michael, as you know. You've quite rightly pointed that out. Oh, yeah, no doubt, I'm sure you said he will be probably gone in January. Yeah, he probably will be gone in January. And this is the thing. Watford are a team that aren't playing and won't be playing Champions League football anytime soon. Watford are a team that aren't in the Premier League. So, yeah, You're going to get the likes of a Premier League club looking at Georgie if he continues to play so well, and he will continue to play so well. He'll improve his game. He's an international. He's good on the international circuit, and you can see why he makes Watford look as good as they've looked so far, except for tonight where he was really a conductor without an orchestra. That's what happened tonight. But thanks for the comment there. Ogbonna, as I said earlier, and as you said, Ogbonna looks very good tonight. I think those are the only things. Twinkle Toe Georgie, says Brown. Watford FC, it's a matter of time before Georgie will be taken away to Udinese in favor of the Pozzos. Yeah, I mean, you can just see it now, can't you, Watford FC? You can see it now with Georgie and the owner. Matt says, injury list update. Backman and Sierralta out until mid-October. That's exactly what I thought about Sierralta. Thank you, Matt, for that. Ngakia out until late October and Kevin out till mid-November. Wow. And Matt, I do trust you on this because you've been accurate on these other things. I've not had a chance to look at this, and I'm normally very strict about that. But tonight have not been able to do it. But that's not good stuff. Not good news at all. It makes our squad ever more thin, Matt. But thanks for the update on this. Mid-November for Kevin. That's not good. That's a big blow. Kevin is a midfielder. That's a big blow for Watford there. And then Ngakia out until late October. Boy, oh boy, that's not good either. Not good either. We miss someone like him. I think Ngakia, and I know some players and some fans aren't fans of his, but I think Ngakia was missed tonight as well. I really do. But we will see how Watford go. We've got Middlesbrough on Saturday at 3 o'clock. We can see what we can see with that. I think Watford will do a lot better in that game. The momentum tonight was just not there for us. We come off a good performance against Sunderland in the second half that we had to suffer against them, but we looked really out of sorts tonight. Never had any clue, never had any ideas, never had any kind of organizational game plan, did we? Just didn't have anything. We just didn't have any organizational discipline. And it's disappointing. It's so disappointing. Really should have done better than what we did tonight, And you just kind of shake your head at it, really, don't you? At the end of the day, what are you going to do? It's unfortunate. I began tonight being infuriated, and now I just sit here, shake my head. It's only the 8th game of the season. I understand that in the championship, but we could have got a point tonight. We could have won the game earlier had we taken that 6-minute chance. If you score that goal in the 6th minute, Preston are gone. They're gone. They're gone at that point, and their heads are going to just really sink. But Barr didn't score, and then we never got on the score sheet at all, And then Bio, real good opportunity. Goal in front of him. All he's got to do is put the ball in the net, finish it off. And what's he done? Hit it to the side of the outside post. It's just unbelievable that this man could absolutely be that poor in front of goal. And you know what's going to happen when he goes to Udinese? He'll score loads of goals. You know that's going to happen. That is going to happen, right? He goes off to Udinese season's end and he scores about a hatful of goals. You know that's going to happen. Brown Electron says, I think Tom would have learned a lot about this defeat tonight. I trust him to get it right on Saturday. Yep, I think they'll bounce back Saturday. This one was really poor, though, and it sticks in the craw for me a little bit. But I think you're right there, Brown. I think that's going to absolutely happen. I think Tom will have learned a lot. Klebs would have learned a lot from this. I think the players, I hope they've learned a lot from this too. Francis says, I would not sell lose a little bit quality and creativity we have in our midfield. He's put in a decent enough work rate under Cleverly. Yeah, he has. I mean, I agree with you, D. Francis, but he just doesn't influence the game for me, I mean, he had some moments tonight where he did with that through ball to Barr, but doesn't influence the game the way he used to. And it's not, look, you can make the point it's about the way Cleverly's playing him or where he's playing him, but he's not the playmaker anymore that he used to be. And that's probably down to the role he plays now. And so he doesn't get to show off the technical skills that he has. And because he doesn't play very often, he really has to show up really well with the little time he gets. And when you've been out of the side as long as he has and has been playing only intermittently and not starting really very many of these games anymore, you're not going to get very much from him. And you're not going to get the chance for him to bed himself into a scheme and a system that's consistent for him. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying, D. But it's just, yeah, I mean, I know he's put in the work rate, but I just don't think he influences the game anymore. I just don't think he puts a footprint on the game as much as he used to. And I do think it's got to do with the managerial systems. And I do think it's got to do with the confidence that's shown in him or not shown in him. And I do think it's got to do with his own disenchantment. I do think that even though he's back from injuries, I do think that he's been discouraged at Watford. He's just not been the same player. I think you'd agree with me, D, that Luz has not been the same player that he was 3 seasons ago, before the injuries or after the injuries. He's just not been the same player as he was. I go back again to that game against Arsenal that we lost in the Premier League that season, the last season we were there, on a Sunday game at the Vic. And Loser was giving you everything on that pitch, everything in every place he could when the rest of the team wasn't doing anything. And now you wouldn't have known, apart from that ball that I saw that went through to Bar, you wouldn't have known that Loser was on the pitch, quite frankly. Now, that may be a bit harsh, but I was not satisfied with the level of effort from him either. And I understand what you mean about the work rate, but I am not satisfied with his effort. He was not present in that game, and he was not the only one. Thanks for the comment, D. Really appreciate that. Watford FC says, I reckon Andrew should be starting over Ebosele. Yeah, he should. I agree with that. I know Ebosele scored on Saturday, but listen, football is a what have you done for me lately business as far as the fans are concerned, as far as the owner's concerned, quite frankly. And so I agree with you. Andrews was injured. He's come back now. He looked lively tonight. He's going to at least give a go. He's going to have a go on goal, have a shot. That's one thing you can count on Barr and Andrews doing, is at least taking shots, even if they don't score them. And we know they didn't tonight, obviously, but they will at least have it go. It's just very disenchanting. I'm very disappointed in this match. I know it's only one game and we'll do better on Saturday, but I am disappointed in this match, just knowing what they had on offer here. And I know we'll have at least 3 or 4 more of these in the entire season, if not more. But to just not be switched on at all tonight, sad. It's just disappointing. Although Ebosele, says Watford FC, has put out a great performance so far, I still do think that Andrews puts more balls in the box and creates more chances. I do think so too. I think he does. He scored this season as well, Watford FC. So there you go with that. This just shows, says Matt, how bad of a striker Bio is. Just look at his stats from the start of the season to now. He's played 486 minutes, says Matt. Started 6 matches, played in 8, and has 17 shots, 6 on target, scored 1. Yeah, poor ratio, very poor. Matt, thank you for your comment. Bio definitely deserves the criticism he's getting. Andrews was very poor against Norwich. He was Brown. He scored in that game. I'll give him a let off on that. But you're right. He was not great in that game. Even though he scored in it, you're right, Brown, about that. But I still think that I would rather have him start right now. Let Ebosele come off the bench a bit more. I know that might run counter to what some fans are thinking. But yeah, I agree, Brown. You're right. Andrews was poor against Norwich. He scored the goal. So I'll give him a little pass on that. But he definitely was not great in that game. And nobody in a Watford shirt was. I mean, Backman got injured in that game. Serrano got injured in that game. Backman should have saved that first goal that went in after 3 minutes. He should have saved that, by the way. He didn't. That's a really poor thing. The away performances have been shambolic in the championship for us. We need to really get the balance right away from home because we haven't. Now, Watford FC says Bio gets lots of headers, but he can't finish many of them, being absolute sitters. Yeah, it's just so painful that he can't get that done. I don't know if it's mental. I don't know what it is. I know it's hard to score goals, but man, 1 goal all season in 8 games in the championship, it's not going to cut the mustard for you. There's better goal rates in schoolboy football than that. And Bayer's going to have to do some thinking here. And I think Tom's got to sit him on Saturday. Knowing Clevs, he'll probably play him to start with and start him at the top. Just really exhausting. I don't know, maybe it's because it's so blooming hot here. It's so hot here. Did I tell you how hot it is? I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It is. I'll show you my phone. All right. I'll show you my phone. You see that? 91. It's unbelievable. So anyway, I'm going to read out your final comments, and then I'm absolutely going to say goodbye. It is so hot out here. Can barely function. 91 degrees. Anyway, I've complained enough about the heat. There's a lot. Listen, there's a lot of people around the world here in this country and elsewhere who are underwater, flooded. So I should not be complaining about the weather being so hot. Watford FC asked, do you reckon we will sign anyone this winter? I do think we will. I think we'll get another striker. That's for sure. Jefferson's not really shown us anything at the moment. He's got a minor injury. He'll be back Saturday. A striker's a priority for us. I do think we need another goalkeeper as a backup. I know we do have him. And good heavens, it's just terrible. Just terrible. We will sign someone. I think we'll sign a couple of players. Listen, January is not going to be a very busy month for us. It's not normally a busy month for any club. But we absolutely are going to sign a couple of players, I think. One in defense and one in defense and one up top. I think that's what it's going to be. Brown Electron says he went from the crow to the pigeon. He sure did. He sure did, Brown. And Watford FC asks, do you not live in Watford? I'm from Watford originally. Watford FC, really from Pinner, which is about 7 miles from Watford. Attended the games ever since the year dot, really. Used to go to the old Vicarage Road Terrace. I don't know how old you are. I'm up there. A bit more, probably older than you are. It's probably a good bet to say that without giving my age away. But I can tell you that as a lad, I would go to the Vicarage Road Terraces all the time and stand up there way back in the day, years and years ago. So no, I don't live in Watford now. I live in the city of San Francisco, California. I do come back for the games every now and again, almost every year. I haven't done it the last few years, though. But I definitely will hope to come back to Watford maybe this season, depending on how Watford are doing. But even if they're not doing well, I would look to go back and say hello again to the place I love and to the area I love and to the club I love in person. So that is the answer to your question there, Watford. Thank you very much for all your comments tonight from Watford, Brown Electrons, and D. Francis, and all the rest of you who have joined. Michael have joined in, and Matt, and all the rest who have chimed in tonight. Thank you so very much. It is getting to be close to 11 o'clock at night now in the United Kingdom. It is almost 3 o'clock here in the afternoon, here in sunny and really, really hot, dangerously hot San Francisco, California. It's very hot here. Wherever you are in the world, be careful with the weather. Take care of yourselves and be well. The final score tonight, Watford were not well at all. Final score was Preston 3, Watford 0. One more comment read out from Matt. I'd love to know how the training goes before the start of the season with us. Always playing well at home or playing well away, but can never be able to win both. Something needs to change. Matt, I agree. And hopefully it's not the manager who needs to change, because it would be really foolish of the Potsels to get rid of Tom Cleverley now, wouldn't it? I don't even want to go down that road, so I wish I did not. Matt, thanks for your comment. The final score again, Preston 3, Watford 0. Really appreciate your comments and your time. Follow along on YouTube and subscribe to the You ORNS WFC YouTube channel. Also on social media at You ORNS WFC on both X and Instagram. And I'll do a video coming up later on and also post the video that I did for the 10-minute take for Sunderland. But gosh, it is so hot here, so I won't be doing that just yet. It's just way too hot here in San Francisco. I know, I've repeated it a million times and you're fed up of me talking about that, but it is so hot here. I will have to bid you a good night. Thanks again, everyone. The final again, Preston 3, as if you needed reminding, Watford 0. Thank you for liking the video and for commenting tonight. We'll be back this Saturday. It's onward and upward to Middlesbrough, of course, next. That will be Watford v Middlesbrough at Vicarage Road. That's coming up this coming Saturday. And I look forward to that because I think Watford will be a whole lot better. Thank you very much, everyone. Take care. And until Saturday, you Orns. Take care and be well. Take care, everyone. Have a very good evening. Oops, sorry about that.